Oh, hello there. Fancy seeing you lot here. Välkommen till Euroden. That's welcome to the Euroden in Swedish, if you didn't know. Come in. Make yourselves at home in this little cozy corner where we discuss all things Eurovision. In fact, you have picked a wonderful time to join me in here, because sound those party hooters and blow those air horns, because at very long last, we have all 35 songs and artists confirmed for the Eurovision Song Contest 2026. In today's show, we'll be doing a rundown on the list of all the songs, plus you'll get my first provisional ranking, and we'll have a check at the various community rankings too. That's all to come after we recap the results from the last week of national finals and take a look at the last internal selections. No doubt that this will be a long episode, so are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin. Let's kick things off with a look back to the final week of national final season that went down 2 weeks ago, starting with the final of Selecția Națională that took place in Romania, with 12 acts involved. There was no public vote here, as the decision was solely down to the jury, and thanks to them, these were the eventual results. In last place was Edward Meyer featuring Love Baby and Kosti, with Everybody Needs Somebody getting 16 points. Vanu with Therapy Enemy comes second last with 19 points. Then Antonio Pecan with Humans, one of the wild cards, 10th place with 24 points. Iguana with Happy Birthday came 9th with 31 points. Olivia Adams with Coco, 8th with 35 points. Monica Odagio with Fereshra Pandru Unorb scored 49 points, as did Rus, who represented Romania in 2022 with Yamame. He came 6th with All the Way, also scoring 49 points. But because he performed earliest in the... Well, wait a second. Both Rus and Monica scored 49 points, so they're joint 6th. But then we have Emmy Alupe with Tilly Bomb and Robert Lukian with Fire to the Lies, both scoring 53 points, placing joint 4th. Then your top 3 were in 3rd place Alejandro Zanders and Emil Wengel with Bailando Solo, scoring 66 points. And then, so the top 2 were all about rock. So it was an all rock heavy top 2. Hans with the song Door scored 69 points for a nice second place, but it's the fan favourites that has won out, as Alexandra Capitinescu romped home victorious with her song Choke Me, which she'll now take to Vienna. So Romania are giving us some female rock this year, but let us walk out to Alexandra's Profile O'Clock. Alexandra Capitinescu is by now renowned amongst fans and critics for combining artistic rigor with raw emotion in her performances, since winning Romania's version of The Voice back in 2023. She has found the time to release her debut EP back in 2024 with it being Capitanu and a string of singles, or whilst she's currently pursuing her master's degree in physics. With her music, she's also been able to tour across Romania. This artist is said to bring something of an inner fire to her songs, a blaze that can be felt from the very first notes heard. So, from what we're gathering, her performances and music are both sensitive yet powerful. Alexandra is proving to be one of the fan favourites of the year, but how will she fare in the main event, and can she get Romania back into the final? You'll have to tune in on Thursday the 14th of May to find out, when Alexandra Capitinescu performs in the first half of semi-final 2. 2 days after Romania chose their act, 3 more acts joined the fray. 2 of them were internal selections, and 1 was chosen via national selection. Let's start with Junior Eurovision champions and now men's Six Nations rugby champions, France, who were the last of the big 4 to unveil their song and artists. They've chosen Monroe to fly the French flag with her song Regard, which means look. And through Regard, France wants to celebrate the richness of all its musical cultures, from the emotional power of opera to the theatricality of great musicals and the modernity of pop. And Monroe is aiming to showcase many French music styles on the European stage. The song was written to be a cry from the heart and a hymn to love, to the simple, powerful truth that despite our differences and struggles, love is everywhere and remains our common language. And at the age of just 17 years old, Monroe is the youngest participant in this year's contest. Yet, she's already spoken about in high regard and is no longer regarded as promising talent, but rather a proven artist, as we're about to discover in her profile o'clock. The singer came to the attention of audiences in 2025, only just last year actually, thanks to her victory in Prodigies, France Television's flagship talent show, where she stood out for possessing a unique combination, a young artist with a golden voice, winning over the jury, the judging panel, and the viewers with her powerful voice, artistry, and charisma. This victory marked a turning point in her career and opened the doors to national recognition. She was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, actually. She grew up between France and the United States in a family environment focused on music and sharing. Introduced to singing and piano at an early age, she developed a solid music foundation from childhood, enriched via choir practice and musicals, trained in classical music and nourished by the demands of opera. Passionate about all music cultures, Monroe draws inspiration from great voices in history, from Cecilia Bartoli to Switzerland's 1988 Eurovision winner Celine Dion. After her debut album was praised for its musical richness and elegance, now Monroe gets to continue her ascent by representing France at Vienna 2026. The first time Monroe will be taken to the stage will be during semi-final 1 on Tuesday, the 12th of May. However, it will only be for showcase performance because, as part of the Big Four, France have an automatic place in the Saturday, 16th of May final. Next, it was Azerbaijan's turn to reveal their act for Vienna 2026. Azerbaijan made their debut in 2008, and they made themselves quite a name for themselves since taking their first steps. They were the last country in the Caucasus region to debut in the contest, and they were the first to win, taking home the trophy in 2011 with Ella Nicky with the song Running Scared. And they were always regular finalists, up until 2018 anyway, when Aysel with Cross My Heart failed to make it to the final. It was the first time ever that Azerbaijan have missed out on the final, having been eliminated from the semi-finals. In their 17 participations, they've made it to 13 finals and failed and got eliminated at the semi-finals 4 times. As I mentioned, with Aysel in 2018, and then they've had this pretty miserable streak from 2023 up to 2025, with Tual Tuan X, Fahri featuring Ilkin Dovlatov, and Mama Gama all being eliminated at the semi-finals. All of them being men representing their country, and coincidentally, they failed to make the final from the semi-finals when they were televote only from 2023 to 2025. Their last qualification to the final was in 2022 with Nadir Rustamli. And that was the last time Azerbaijan made the final. And that was the last time the jury was involved in the semi-finals before they were removed for 2023. Well, now Azerbaijan are sending a woman to the Eurovision Song Contest for the first time since 2021. And coincidentally, it happens to be in the year that the juries are being reinstated back into the semi-finals. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, representing Azerbaijan this year is an artist called Jamila Hashimova, known professionally as Jiva. And she'll be representing the Land of Fire with her song Just Go. Let us light the flames to her profile o'clock and get to know Jiva a little better. Here we are. So, Jamila Hashimova, better known as Jiva, is an Azerbaijani singer renowned for her schwung vocals and the sincere performances she gives to audiences. Her artistic journey began in 2003 when she achieved second place at the Baku Autumn Competition, and she participated in the Showtime project in 2007. The singer has since taken part in various musical projects and performed with the renowned Rast ensemble led by Rashad Hashimov and appeared on stage at the Montreux Jazz Festival. Later, as a lead vocalist of the Has Band, she combined jazz elements with contemporary pop music. Since 2017, Jiva has continued her career as a solo artist. She records songs in the pop, dance, and R&B genres, singing them in Azerbaijani, Russian, and English. Last year, she achieved another career high when she won the Azerbaijani version of The Voice as part of Roya Akhan's team. 2026 isn't her first encounter with the Eurovision Song Contest, though. Jiva reached the top 3 in Azerbaijan's national final back in 2011, losing out to Ella Niki, who would go on to win the competition. But can Jiva achieve what Ella Niki did and win the Eurovision Song Contest for Azerbaijan? Well, before she even thinks about that, she has to do what Tural X, Fahrin Ilkin Dovlatov and Mama Gama failed to do, and that's to get Azerbaijan into the grand final. I shall be trying to do just that from the first half of semi-final 2 on Thursday, the 14th of May. San Marino's national final, the San Marino Song Contest, saw 40 artists and 10 big artists compete to represent the microstate on the ultimate stage over 3 days of competition, starting with the 2 semi-finals, which gave us these qualifiers. From semi-final, the qualifiers were Anna Smith with Bruised, Luna with Freedom Calling, Clem with OK Respira, Luca Bassi with Gicolo, Magdalena Tool with I'll Be Around, Matthias Ferreira with Power, Maya Azucena with Mycin, Mickey with Out of Tune, Orphe with Wise Again, and Pellegrina Pibigas with Il Giornoce. Those were the 10 acts that qualified from all the acts that have competed in the semi-finals that took place on the Wednesday and the Thursday. Those 20 qualifiers, along with as well as the Big Ten, plus the addition of another act, Marco, with his song Shine, perform their songs again. Well, the 20 acts perform their songs again. Well, the 10 acts qualified from the semi-finals perform their songs again, and the 10 big artists perform their songs in full for the first time, as well as Marco. Then the top 5 was revealed, and it was out of them that the winner was chosen. All results were determined by a jury, and here are the top 5 results. So the top 5 were, and this was announced in no particular order, but I'll run through the top 5 in ascending order. In joint 4th place was Maya Assassino with My Sin and Ines Naziri with In My Head. Ines competed in Festival Kengas, Albania's national final back in December. Paolo Belli with Bellissima came in 3rd place. Kelly Joyce with Oh La La came in 2nd place. And so that means that Senhit was the one that won out. And she's the one that will fly the flag for San Marino with the song Superstar, featuring vocals from former lead singer of Culture Club, Boy George, the band, of course, who had that big hit with Karma Chameleon. I'm sure many of you that was around in like the 70s or 80s, somewhere around that time, will be well familiar with Culture Club and the Karma Chameleon. So many of you already know about Boy George. Regarding Senhit, though, as we dive into her profile o'clock, let me just find it. She's a name, a face, and a voice that will be familiar to many Eurovision fans. She first graced the contest a decade and a half ago. Now she's going to Eurovision for the 3rd time, having competed in 2011 with Stand By at Dusseldorf in Germany, before returning 10 years later in 2021 with Adrenalina, featuring American rapper Flowrider. Now, she has since released the album Dangerous, featuring collaborations with Steve Aoki, Benny Benassi, and the aforementioned Flowrider. As well as Eurovision stage, Senhit has graced many other platforms across Europe, playing roles in productions of The Lion King and Hair and Fame in Germany and in Switzerland. San Marino made the final last year with Gabri Ponte, but can they do it again with Senhit? All shall be known when Senhit performs during the second half of semi-final 2 on Thursday the 14th of May. And who knows, maybe Boy George will appear on stage with her. Only time will tell. To the final Saturday of national selection season now. Poland was the first to start, so I'll cover that one first. 8 acts were participating in Finale Polskich Kwalifikacji, with the Polish viewers having full power of the decision-making. The winner was announced the following morning on Pytanie na Śniadanie, which means question for breakfast. But first, I have the full results. So in 8th place, with 3.6% of the vote, was Jeremy Sikorski with Yasini Fizilowski. In 7th place, with 4% of the vote, Anastasia with Wild Child. Karolina Suzorowska with Niboysie scored 6.4% of the votes, coming home in 6th place. Stasiek Kukulski with This Too Shall Pass made the pass all the way to 5th place with 9.6% of the vote. Piotr Prygalski with Harawani Tango scored 11.5% of the vote and came home in 4th place. Then the top 3, Basia Giwont with Zimna Voda. She was the big fan favourite among the Eurovision community. But yep, she managed just 14.6% of the vote. It was only good enough for 3rd place. Ola Antoniak was the runner-up in Poland's former Junior Eurovision selection Szansa na Sukces, and she's the runner-up here in their selection for the adult contest too. Her song Don't You Try scored 18.4% of the vote, and that means that Alicia Zemplinska was the chosen one, as she entered the Pytanie na Śniadanie set to Hugs, Kisses, Flowers, and a Flight ticket to Eurovision with her song Pray, scoring a huge 32% of the votes. Now, this is not her first rodeo on the Eurovision circuit, no. As I hunt down for Alicia's profile o'clock, found it here. She was going to represent Poland in 2020 after winning Szansa na Sukces, which was their national final at the time, having used that very same show as their method of selection for Junior Eurovision. Like I mentioned, that Antoniak was all up in that one in 2024. But that nonsensical pain in the behind, that was the coronavirus, or COVID-19 for short, God forbid me for mentioning that virus again, put pay to all that, as that year's contest was cancelled, and she has since then not had another chance to get to the big stage, as Rafał was chosen to represent Poland in 2021, then Ockman in 2022, Blanka in 2023, Luna in 2024, and last year Justyna Styczkowska. She tried again in, 2023, but didn't make it. Blanka, of course, won that selection that year. Now, at last, she has got another chance to perform on the Eurovision stage. For real this time. But let us get to know Alicia a bit more. It is Profile O'Clock time. Alicia Zimplinska is a singer and songwriter who first rose to fame after winning the Polish version of The Voice. She's now regarded as one of the most distinctive voices on the Polish music scene. Her sound blends elements of R&B and soul, captivating listeners with the emotional depth and authenticity of her delivery. In her most recent releases in particular, Alicia has been presenting lyrics rooted in her own personal experiences. In 2024, she released her debut album, Nie Łakam, which was promoted by the well-received singles Spokojnie Nie Panuj. The title track, Nie Łakam, Za dużo les and Wykoty zgras. The album tells a series of intimate stories that allows audiences to rediscover Alicia as a more mature and deeply expressive artist. Currently, Alicia is developing her first English-language album, marking the beginning of a new international chapter in her career. And as I mentioned before, this was not her first rodeo. It's actually her second time winning the Polish selection, having won Szansa na Sukces in 2020 with her song Empires. But she missed out on the opportunity to represent her country that year after Eurovision was cancelled due to the COVID pandemic, which I already mentioned. She did get to perform her song Empires eventually during that year's Junior Eurovision Song Contest, which just so happened to be taking place in Poland. Now, the nation has made it to the final in 3 out of the last 5 years, with Ockman, Blanka and Justyna Styczkowska making it through, but Rafał Zuzowski and Luna were both eliminated at the semi-finals. What can Alicia do from the second half of semi-final 1? You'll have to wait until Tuesday the 12th of May to find out. Over in Sweden, the Strawberry Arena in Stockholm was the last stop in the Melodifestivalen tour. A huge banner-holding, balloon-waving crowd of around 27,000 people watched as 12 acts competed for Den Stora Sångfågeln, the Great Songbird, along with the Swedish ticket to Vienna. 8 international juries from Armenia, Australia, Croatia, Czechia, Finland, France, Greece and Italy had a hand in the decision-making, alongside the Swedish public. Here's how it panned out from bottom to top. Coming in last place with 18 points was Saga Ludvigsson with Ain't Today, scoring only 5 points from the jury and only 13 points from the Swedish public. Robin Benson with Honey Honey came 11th with 29 points, 22 points from the jury, but only 7 from the public. Sanna Nielsen with Waste Your Love came 10th with 33 points, 17 from the jury, 16 from the public. And then Fan favourite in the Eurovision community, Mira Omar with Dusset Doam. She only managed 33 points from the juries, but a measly 8 points from the public. Only 1 point more from the public than Robin Benson. All that total to 41 points, meaning Mira only finished 9th. Then Lila Al-Fadji with the song Delulu, with one of the songwriters being Edward Afsillen, the Swedish scriptwriter and Sweden's Eurovision commentator. That scored 24 points from the juries, but 39 points from the public. So fared well with the public more than the juries. 63 points in total for an 8th place finish. Then, yeah, I'm about to mention the number trap, but properly. Not meme way. Don't even try me with the meme. I will refer it how it's meant to be referred. 67. That's the total number of points 18 scored with their song Iconic, coming home in 7th place. The juries gave it 31 points, the public gave it 36. Then with 78 points comes Kimberly with Eternity. 48 points from the juries, 30 from the public. That's 6th place. And then the singing Firefighters, well, judging by the suits anyway, that is the Branster City Slackers with Wakt in Elden, coming home in 5th place with 82 points, 34 points from the juries, then 48 points with the public. Then came Smash Into Pieces, who have previously finished in the top 3 a couple of times. They just finished off the podium this time with Hollow, scoring 90 points in 4th place, 49 from the juries, 41 with the public. Then comes the top 3, all of them scoring past the 100-point threshold. Medina have come 3rd with Viva l'Amour with 132 points, scoring 66 points with both the juries and with the public. So very identical scores on both sides, and that means Medina have finished in the top 3 in all their participations. The runner-up was Gretzila with his song Half of Me, scoring 2 points less than Medina with the juries, scoring 64 points. But the public were more rewarding than Medina, with Gretzila scoring 70 points for a total of 134 points, coming home in 2nd place, scoring 2 points more than Medina. But that means that Felicia became the new owner of the Songbook and is now Sweden's hopeful for Eurovision, with her EDM banger of a song My System being the winner of Melodifestivalen, with both the juries and public just about on the same wavelength. The juries gave it 71 points. The public gave it 90 points. Felicia amassed over 3.9 million votes from the Swedish public. It's worth noting that the 12 points during the jury votes were flying in from all sorts, with numerous different acts receiving at least a set of 12 points. But it was that last set of 12 points that gave Felicia the win in the juries, and the public vote got it over the line for Felicia in the end. So now we know that Felicia will be heading to Vienna. Time to log into the database and locate her profile o'clock. Here it is. Now, Felicia has taken Sweden by storm in a short time with her unique voice, charisma, and stage presence. Now, she was the artist formerly known as Frukkensnusk, and it was under the Frukkensnusk moniker that she has topped the charts on Spotify, performed over 300 gigs, and has won the Swedish version of The Masked Singer. And it was under the Frukkensnusk moniker that she participated in Melodifestivalen 2 years ago, back in 2024, with the song Unga och Fria, which became a huge streaming hit. However, her time as Frukkensnusk was short-lived, as she was she was sacked and replaced by the producer who owned both the name of Snusk and the image of the character. That producer in question being called Rasmus Gozzi. And from what I've been reading recently, he wasn't exactly the nicest of producers towards Felicia. Let's just say the way he's treated Felicia was quite bad. But I'm not going to go too far into detail on that one. But let's just say he wasn't very nice towards Felicia. But in the autumn of 2025, so last year, the artist released her first single as Felicia, Black Widow, under her own name, and it already became a top 5 smash hit for the single on Spotify. And at the start of February this year, so just last month, Felicia released her debut EP, the appropriately titled Serve, featuring her recent singles, including her Melfest winning song, My System. And now she is heading to Eurovision under her own name. And it's crazy to think that Sweden have only failed to reach the final only once. That was in 2010 with Anna Bergendahl. Apart from that, Sweden have been regular finalists. And from what I have seen in the fandom's reactions, another high placing could be on the cards. First, Felicia will have to navigate semi-final 1 on Tuesday the 12th of May, where she'll perform in the first half. As always, it was Festival da Canção in Portugal. That was the very last live national final of the season to wrap up. The 10 acts that made it from the semi-finals performed one more time to become the winner of this year's festival, the 60th edition of Portugal's most prestigious music festival. The Portuguese public and 7 regional juries across the nation ranked and voted all the songs, and here's the results. Now, the regional jury's points, those points were then converted into a set of 1 to 8, 10 and 12 points, just like in Eurovision. The public vote also had a set of 1 to 8, 10 and 12 points, and here's what was done with it. Coming in last place was Evaya with Sprint with 3 points. 2 points from the jury and 1 from the public. Gonçalo Gomes with Doce Ilusão scored 7 points, 4 points from the jury, 3 points from the public for 9th place. Marquisa with Chuva came 8th with 8 points, 3 from the jury, 5 from the public. Andre Amaro, one of 2 actors, said yes to Eurovision. He came 7th with 8 points, but he scored higher with the public than Marquisa with 7 points, though he only scored 1 point from the jury. Silvana Perez with Now Temfim came home in 6th with 9 points, 5 points from the juries and 4 points from the public. 7 points from the jury, 6 points from the public gave Sandrino 13 points with Disposto a Tudo coming home in 5th place. João Ribeiro Cansao do Queira, 14 points, 12 from the juries, so he was the jury winner. But the public votes were not so convinced. They only gave him 2 points. Then your top 3, there was a tie for 2nd place with Nuncia Mats Mandarim with Fuma and Dinis Motta with Jure, both scoring 16 points. Now, Nuncia Mats Mandarim scored 8 points from both the juries and with the public. But when those 8 public points were announced, it soon became clear who has won. But let's get to the remaining points. So Nuncia Mats Mandarim scored 8, but Dinis Motta with Jure scored higher with the public than the duo. Despite scoring only 6 points from the juries, those 10 points means that Dinis was given the priority for 2nd place. But that meant that Bandidos Docante, who opened the final, I should point out, in the running order, they were the very first act to perform in that final, have emerged victorious with their song Rosa. The juries gave it 10 points, and they topped the public votes, getting the public's 12 points. As I covered previously, a large number of acts in the festival this year have said that they would not go to Eurovision because of Israel's participation due to the ongoing war in Gaza, which has been recognised as genocide. So a big majority of the artists said no. Bandidos do Cante, along with Andre Amaro, were the only acts that said yes to going to Eurovision should they win Festival da Canção. Well, Bandidos do Cante have successfully done just that, and that basically signalled the fact that they will be representing Portugal in Vienna this May. Now, it's the second year in a row that Portugal are sending in a group to Eurovision, an all-male group at that, after Napa last year. So now it's Bandidos do Cante's turn. Now for their profile o'clock as we learn more about the group. Now, Bandidos do Cante is a group made up of Miguel Costa, Duarte Farias, Francisco Raposo, Luis Alexio, and Francisca Patana. The quintet carries with it the essence of Cante Alentejano, a traditional way of singing in Alentejo, recognised by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of humanity, intertwined with a contemporary pop sound. The group was formed when the five friends merged their voices on the single Casa by Dharma and Buba Espino, and they've since made history under their own name. Their debut single, Amigos Coloridos, was a sensation upon launch, shortly becoming the most played song on Portuguese radio. Since then, the group have amassed over 200 monthly listeners, charmed audiences made up of people of all ages, and given performances on the biggest stages in Portugal. Their 2025 tour, with over 80 concerts scheduled in, concluded symbolically in their hometown with 2 sold-out shows. In January of this year, Bandidos do Cante released their first album, Barro das Flores, a work that reflects the group's entire story and the sound that results from such a journey. The album revisits Cante Alentejano in the light of the present, with songs that mix tradition with the contemporary, such as Primavera, in collaboration with Antonio Zambujo. 2019 was the last time Portugal failed to reach the final with Conan Osiris. Since the turn of the decade, Portugal have been regular finalists, with the Black Mamba, Maro, Mimicat, Yolanda and Napa all qualifying for the final. Bandidos do Cante will be performing in the second half of semi-final 1 on Tuesday the 12th of May, as they aim to get Portugal into yet another final. With all the national selections done, it was down to the final remaining internal selections. Czechia announced their act the following day, with Daniel Ziska getting the nod from Czech broadcaster CT to be their nation's representative in Vienna, and his song Crossroads was released 3 days later. It's the second year in the row that a male soloist will be representing Czechia after Adonis flew their flag in Basel last year. Let's learn more about Daniel with his profile o'clock. At just 23 years old, Daniel Ziska is already regarded as one of the most compelling voices of a new generation in Czech music. The magazine headliner has helped in cementing this status, including him among their list of the future talents of the Czech music scene. What sets Daniel apart, however, is not only his own technical skill, but above all his ability to combine a mature vocal delivery with natural calmness and authenticity. And to the team at Czech broadcaster CT, this contrast was already evident during the first listening sessions. Krzysztof Samal, the Czech head of delegation, said this: "When Daniel came into the studio and sang his song straight through on the first try with absolute ease, the room fell completely silent. Not because he was loud, but because he was completely focused and confident. The performance was disarming, technically precise, yet full of emotion. It was clear we were watching an artist who knows exactly who he wants to be. And Daniel himself is obviously excited about the opportunity presented to him, but it's clear he's already fully focused on the journey ahead. This is what he had to say, and I quote, "Eurovision is a huge platform and a big show, but what I mainly want to bring there is music and emotion. I don't want to completely compete hidden behind flashiness and spectacle. I want to stand firmly behind who I am as an artist." Czechia, since their debut in 2007, originally known as the Czech Republic, but now known as Czechia, the country has only made the final 5 times out of their 13 appearances. The last time they made the final was with Vesna back in 2023. Can Daniel Zizka bring them back to the final? He'll try to do just that from the first half of semi-final 2 on Thursday, the 14th of May. A final flurry of songs came through between Monday and Wednesday last week to complete the list of songs for ESC 2026. Jiva released her song Just Go for Azerbaijan. Switzerland's contestant Veronika Fasaro released her song Alice. And then, as I mentioned, Crossroads by Daniel Zizka for Czechia came out. Then we had former Junior Eurovision champions for Georgia, Bezikabi, releasing their song On Replay to complete the Vienna 2026 Songbook. But there's still one more act that I've yet to do a profile o'clock for. The one for the acts that will be representing Armenia. Now, Armenia made their Eurovision debut back in 2006. And they've competed it 17 times, making it to 14 grand finals. Their best results being 4th place, which they achieved twice with Surusho with Kele Kele in 2008, and Aram MP3 with Not Alone back in 2014. But the 2020s were rough for Armenia to start off with. Obviously, Eurovision was cancelled due to COVID. And that was rough for everyone. But then Armenia withdrew from that year's Junior Eurovision, and also withdrew from the returning Eurovision 2021 due to unresolved conflict with Azerbaijan after the breakout of the Second Nagorno-Karabakh War, particularly regarding the Nagorno-Karabakh region, also known as the Republic of Artsakh. I don't know much about that particular conflict, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'll probably look for reputable sources that explain that better than I did. So all that conflict stuff has fixed them out of things. But in December of 2021, they returned to JESC and emerged victorious, thanks to Malena with Kami Kami. Following that, they returned to the adults contest in 2022, and since then, they've clocked up 4 consecutive grand final appearances in the adults contest with Rosalind, Brunette, Ladaniva, and Parg, and always continuing their streak of finishing in the top 10 in the junior contest with Nare, Young Girls, Leo, and Albert Amenikian. Plus, they'll be hosting another EBU event, the biannual classical music competition Eurovision Young Musicians in Yerevan on the 6th of June this year, less than a month after the Eurovision Song Contest concludes. So, who will be the one to fly the Armenian flag in Austria this year? Well, last Wednesday, they revealed all. Simon will be their contestant with the song Paloma Rumba. Like with Czechia, it's back-to-back male reps for Armenia after Parg last year. Interestingly, Simon was the runner-up to Parg in Depi Evratsesil last year. And now with Armenia keeping quiet up until last Wednesday, meaning that they wouldn't be doing national final this year. They'd be going back to internal selections. And now it's Simon that gets his moment in the spotlight. Speaking before the big reveal, Simon said, and I quote, "For many years I dreamed of performing on the big stage at the Eurovision Song Contest, and today my dream has finally come true. This moment is the result of years of hard work and unwavering belief. I hope my song inspires a sense of freedom, fills you with energy, and reminds you that sometimes achieving your dreams only takes one brave step out of your comfort zone." Paloma Wumba, Armenia's song for 2026, is a rebellious anthem about breaking free from the monotony of a suffocating routine and finally choosing yourself and your dreams over your comfort zone. The title literally translates to Dove's Wumba, or Dove's Dance, symbolizing a joyful dance of freedom, like a dove finally taking flight after being caged for too long. Through humour in its lyrics, attitude in Simon's delivery, and the explosive energy of the production, the song follows a character who walks away from an unrewarding 9-to-5 life, which we could probably tell from the music video of the song being set in an office, choosing to follow their passion instead. At its core, Paloma Wumba celebrates the moment to say goodbye to what is holding you back and start living to the rhythm of your heart. And amongst the song writers of the song was Rosalind, who represented Armenia back in 2022. Another one person listed among the songwriters just so happens to be the Armenian head of delegation, David Sarunian. But who is Simon? His profile o'clock will give us more. Here we are. Hailing from the city of Razdan in Armenia, Simon's strong passion for music, dancing and performing was evident from an early age. His family would often joke that he learned how to sing and dance before he learned how to walk and talk. But don't we all, eh? Growing up, Simon's biggest inspiration was Michael Jackson, whose artistry greatly influenced his style and love for the stage. Although he majored in economics while studying at university, Simon never pursued a career in that field, choosing instead to follow his heart and passion for performing. With years of work and dedication, Simon soon became one of the most well-known dancers across the Armenian entertainment industry. In recent years, the artist has shifted his professional focus to singing, becoming a lead performer at one of the most famous live music clubs in Yerevan, Armenia's capital, of the capital city that will be hosting Eurovision young musicians, and has already staged 2 Junior Eurovision Song Contests. Since then, he's been dazzling audiences at various music festivals and shows across the country. In 2025, last year, Simon decided to follow his dream and compete to represent Armenia at the Eurovision Song Contest. As I mentioned earlier, he took part in Depi Evraktasil, Armenia's national final, where he was placed the runner-up after earning the top scores from both the local and international juries. So now, following this success, broadcaster AMPTV, the Armenian broadcaster, internally selected Simon to represent Armenia at the 70th Eurovision Song Contest in Vienna. And we'll be seeing him in action on Thursday, the 14th of May, when he performs in the first half of semi-final 2. So there we have it. All 35 songs and artists are now known. Let's just run down the class of the Eurovision Song Contest 2026. For Albania, Alice with the song Nan. For Armenia, Simon with Paloma Wumba. For Australia, Delta Goodrum with Eclipse. For the host country, Austria, Cosmo, Tanzshine. For Azerbaijan, Jiva with Just Go. For Belgium, Esila with Dancing on the Ice. For Bulgaria, Dara with Bangaranga. For Croatia, Lelek with Andromeda. For Cyprus, Antigone with Jala. For Czechia, Daniel Ziska with Crossroads. For Denmark, Søren Topgaard Lund with Fovigahiem. For Estonia, Vanilla Ninja with Too Epic to Be True. For Finland, Linda Lampenius and Petter Parkkonen with Likinhetsin. For France, Monroe with Regard. For Georgia, Bezikabi with On We Play. For Germany, Sarah Engels with Fire. Greece, Achilles with Ferto. For Israel, Noam Betan with Michelle. For Italy, Sal Da Vinci with Per Sempre Si. For Latvia, Atvara with Erna. For Lithuania, Lion Sika with Solo Quero Mas. For Luxembourg, Eva Maria with Mother Nature. Apologies for the background noise, someone's doing some lawn mowing. Anyway, for Malta, Aiden with Bella. For Moldova, Satoshi with Viva Moldova. For Montenegro, Tamara Zhikovic with Nova Zora. For Norway, Jonas Love with Ya Ya Ya. For Poland, Alicia with Pue. For Portugal, Bandidos Tocante with Rosa. For Romania, Alexandra Capitanescu with Choke Me. For San Marino, Senhit featuring Boy George with Superstar. For Serbia, Lavina with Crymena. For Sweden, Felicia with My System. For Switzerland, Veronica Fasaro with Alice. For Ukraine, Lelica with Widnim. And for the United Kingdom, Look Mum No Computer with Eins Zwei Drei. I have given all the songs a once over and ranked them. So here's my first provisional ranking of Eurovision 2026. And once that's done, we'll look at the community rankings. Let me just find my ranking right now. Here it is. So my last place, number 35, Luxembourg. And number 34, Azerbaijan. And number 33, Poland. And number 32, Belgium. At number 31, Austria. At number 30, San Marino. At number 29, Estonia. At number 28, Germany. At number 27, Israel. At number 26, Portugal. At number 25, Armenia. At number 24, Ukraine. At number 23, Croatia. At number 22, Latvia. At number 21, Malta. At number 20, France. At number 19, Albania. At number 18, Switzerland. At number 17, Bulgaria. At number 16, Serbia. At number 15, Cyprus. At number 14, Czechia. At number 13, Norway. At number 12, Australia. At number 11, Italy. And now my top 10. So getting my 1 point at number 10 is Montenegro. Getting 2 points at number 9, Lithuania. Getting 3 points at number 8, Romania. Getting 4 points at number 7, United Kingdom. Getting 5 points at number 6, Sweden. Into the top 5 now. My 6 points at number 5 go to Denmark. My 7 points going to Moldova in at number 4. And then the top 3, to Moldova getting the 7 points there at number 4. So in third place for me, getting my 8 points and the bronze medal, is Finland in at number 3. My 10 points and my silver medal goes to Georgia in at number 2. And then my personal winner of Eurovision 2026, and therefore getting the 12 points and my gold medal, in at number 1, it is Greece. Now let's check the community rankings. On my Eurovision scoreboard, Europarty, 459 points, and Eurofans. And for each, I'll be looking at the top 10. Starting with my Eurovision scoreboard. In 10th place is Montenegro with 87,286 points. At number 9 is in 9th place is France with 93,537 points. At number 8 is Australia with 93,541 points. Then Romania is 7th with 98,535 points. Then it's Croatia at number 6 with 102,961 points. Then you've got Greece in 5th with 134,786 points. Number 4, it's its neighbours, coincidentally enough, Cyprus, with 135,861 points. Then in 3rd, it's Sweden with 164,773 points. Then Denmark 2nd with 195,744 points. And by a long way ahead, topping the My Eurovision Scoreboard community ranking is Finland with 234,659 points. So an all Nordic top 3 on My Eurovision Scoreboard. For Euro Party, the top 10 is as follows. In 10th place is Romania with 69 points. In 9th place with 87 points is Australia. Then you got Monroe in 8th with 107 points. Croatia 1 point ahead with 108 points in 7th place. Same with Montenegro, but they're classified in 6th place, who's getting highest set of points. Greece has 154 points in 5th. Cyprus, again, ahead of Greece, 170 points in 4th. And it's the same top 3, with Sweden in 3rd, 232. Denmark 2nd, 280. And Finland 1st with 357 points. In the 459 points app, your top 10 is as follows. In 10th place, it's Georgia with 386 points. Then it's Bulgaria in 9th with 388 points. Then Montenegro with 400 points in 8th. Then Australia, 439 points in 7th. In 6th place is Greece with 508 points. And in 5th place is France with 530 points. And then Denmark's in 4th with 582 points. Antigone's 3rd with 599 points for Cyprus in this app. 599 points. Then you've got Sweden in 2nd with 758 points. And Finland also topped this ranking with 834 points. And on the Eurofans app, the top 10 is as follows. We've got Romania in 10th with 112 points. And then Australia 9th, also with 112 points. But they placed in the top 10 more times than Romania. Made 20 top 10s and Australia 24 top 10s. Then you've got Bulgaria in 8th with 114 points. Then Cyprus in 7th with 133 points. Then France with 144 points in 6th place, despite having less top 10s than Cyprus. Then 5th is Croatia with 149 points. Greece is 4th with 203 points. Then Sweden 3rd with 233 points. Denmark in 2nd with 291 points. And Finland topped this ranking too with 318 points. So with all the community rankings we have viewed here, Finland have topped all of them. So could Finland be the big favourite to take home the famous crystal microphone? Only time will tell. Oh, and by the way, the head of delegation meeting took place yesterday, during which the grand final performance slots for the host country was drawn at random. We now know that Austria will be performing in slot number 25, which means that Cosmo will be closing the entire show on home soil. And this is not the first time that this has happened, nor will it be the last, I doubt. Because you'll remember back in 2023, when Liverpool hosted Eurovision on behalf of Ukraine, who won the 2022 contest, but due to the war caused by Russia, Ukraine was not able to host the event in their home country. So the United Kingdom hosted the contest on their behalf. So there were, by de facto, 2 host entries for 2023. One of the reigning champions, Ukraine, and one of the geographical host country, the United Kingdom. And it was the UK that were drawn at random, which had their spots drawn at random. Ukraine formed, was it 19th, if I remember? And the UK was drawn slot 26, meaning that the UK had closed the show on home soil with May Muller. Now, funnily enough, this is the second time in 3 years that Austria will gets to close the final. It's the second time that Austria will be closing the final. Because only 2 years ago, Kalin, who represented Austria that year with We Will Wave, was the last act to perform in the grand final. And now Cosmo will be following in her footsteps and closing the grand final. But this time in front of a home crowd. Exciting. Finally for today, an update in the realms of Junior Eurovision. Georgia will be using Vienna to select their entry again with a new series starting on the 21st of March. Basically, this Saturday coming at 7 p.m. Central European Time with the first tour. 10 singers will perform over 4 different themed tours over the next 8 shows. Last year, they did the 2 shows per week, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. I'm not sure whether they'll be doing the same again or then for this year, or whether they're going back to just the Saturday show. Either way, they're split into 2 groups. 5 perform in show 1, and the other 5 perform in show 2. So part 1 and part 2 for each of the 4 tours. Then the top 5 after all the tours goes through to the semi-final. Then the top 3 go to the final. And the winner of that goes forth to JASC for Georgia. And by tours, I mean the themed rounds, if you wonder what I was talking about. So each tour round will be in a different theme. But where will Junior Eurovision take place for 2026? Well, we know already that the champions France declined and San Marino put in a bid. But has another country beaten them to the post? San Marino RTV's Director General Roberto Sergio seemed to imply as such in a press conference after the San Marino Song Contest. When asked about it, he said the following, and I quote, "We have actually applied. San Marino has submitted its candidacy to the EBU, but unfortunately we will not be hosting the event because another country applied before us, so that country will be contracted first." After that response, a discussion took place between Roberto Sergio, the head director general, and Denny Monetzi, the San Marinese head of delegation, during which it was stated that France has given up, as in declined to host. So we'll go, I don't know where, to Montenegro? No, to North Macedonia. I shouldn't have said it, but we've already said it. So what's being implied here is that San Marino put a bid, but apparently it might be that North Macedonia, who came 7th in last year's event in Tbilisi with Nella Mancheska with her song Miracle, might have placed a bid before San Marino submitted theirs. Nothing has been confirmed yet by either the North Macedonian broadcaster MRT or by the European Broadcasting Union. So nothing is set in stone yet. But should it come to pass, and that if North Macedonia is indeed hosting Junior Eurovision 2026, then that will be the first ever Eurovision contest to be held in the Balkan nation of North Macedonia, and it will be the first Eurovision contest to be held within the former Yugoslavia since the 2008 Eurovision Song Contest in Belgrade, Serbia. Now, but we will have to wait and see as to where we will be going for Junior Eurovision. We should know this information, ideally, at least before we get to the live shows for the Eurovision Song Contest get going. I'm failing that probably at least because if I remember that Spain was announced as the host country for Junior Eurovision back was it February? The host city was confirmed to be Madrid the day before the 2024 Eurovision Grand Final, and that Madrid will be hosting Junior Eurovision 2024. then what was it? Probably close to last year's shows starting in Basel for the adult contest. It was announced that Tbilisi will be hosting Junior Eurovision 2025. So we should hopefully get news on where we're going for Junior Eurovision probably within the coming months. So watch this space. And that is time right there. The Euroden must now close up shop. Don't forget that you can check out the Euroden Instagram page at Euroden_pod for more Eurovision goods. And if you enjoyed what you heard, leave a review in the comments below the description and leave a rating wherever available that you are listening to. National final season is over, so we now move into the promotional stuff with pre-parties, and I'll explain all about them next week, plus another check on the community rankings to see if anything's changed. And we'll look at the first results from Vienna in Georgia. For now, as they say in Bulgaria, do vizdani. Thanks a bunch for listening, and see you next time.